I pledge allegiance to the snack of Pasadena, California. It's snack time!
Welcome to Snackboy. I want to spell a word for you that back in high school meant a lot to all of us. A-S-S. No, I'm not spelling ass. Get your mind out of the gutter. Let me finish. E-M-B-L-Y. Assembly, assembly, assembly. Everyone likes an assembly. You get to get out of class. Freedom! Sweet freedom. And today, the best assembly came. Well, I say today, I'm going back to high school now. Let's span time. We're spanning time back to Springbrook High School. And it was assembly day. And it was like a movie. It was slow motion. The bell rang from homeroom, marking that we were going to the assembly. The doors burst open in the hallways, and we were like in slow motion as sun poured through windows and out of lockers. We just ran gleefully and hopped and skipped and jumped, and some of us walked on our hands, and the cheerleaders cartwheeled down the hall toward the assembly room. Oh, the joy, the joy, the joy. You know how it feels. Okay. We get to the assembly room, the double doors burst open, and we swarm into this wonderful arena of laziness, taking our seats, sitting by our best friends, happy as a clam, sitting down, and the lights go out. Oh, the buzz. Oh, the buzz. I think you know something. It doesn't matter what the assembly is. You just feel so good to be getting out of class. It's good enough for you, and it was good enough for Snackboy that day. So there I am, we're sitting there, a group of my homies and I, and the lights go down, and the screen projector comes down from the ceiling, and out of nowhere comes this doctor guy with short hair, balding, and we know that something is not quite right in this assembly. Something is awry! And then so the assembly comes on, and the doctor goes up to the microphone, and he goes, "Today's assembly is on the disasters of drunk driving for teenagers." And we're getting a preachy assembly. But not just preachy, people. There's something that a lot of you already know about Snackboy. Although I love, love, love horror movies. I love horror movies like there's no tomorrow. I love Tom Savini's bloody special effects for Friday the 13th, where the axe splits Marcy's face. I love a good, gory horror movie. I am into it. I dig it. And I don't care what the moral groups out there say. I love me some horror movie. Anyway, but I cannot take real-life violence. Like if you see Surgery TV, I start to lose it. I admit it. Anyway, the assembly was filled with gory, graphic, real-life. Hey, remember Johnny? Remember how my mom took me to see Johnny at our church, and I fainted, and I just about puked all over the place and peed myself because of Johnny's poor troubles, Johnny being that girl who dove in the lake, hit her head on a rock, and they shaved her head, and she was paralyzed, and she had to draw with her teeth, but she drew pretty horses. Anyway, well, this is just like that Johnny assembly, only worse. The guy had a little clicker, and he was getting more and more graphic as he went, and I think, people, that he was digging, making us lose it. All right, people. He was just like the guy in The Princess Bride. Inconceivable! Wallace Shawn. He was like, all right, people, let's give this guy a hand. Click, click. And all of a sudden, there'd be like in the street by a car, there'd be someone's bloody, disembodied hand just sitting there on the asphalt. And I started to lose it. I started getting a little lightheaded. You know, because I'm thinking to myself, that hand used to belong to someone. That's someone's real hand. I know it sounds dumb, but I was losing it. And he said, this person, when they were driving drunk, wasn't using his head. Click, click, and of course, you know what popped up. Oh, I started feeling nauseous. And I turned to Carla, who was on my left, and I said, Carla, I'm not feeling too good. She said, just don't look. I said, but I already looked. The hand and the head. She said, put your head between your knees. So I put my head between my knees, and I started getting even sicker. And he said, let's give this guy a hand. Click. Oh, and there was another hand, and I lost. I stood up in front of the whole auditorium of kids, and I was swirling around all these kids like the prom scene in Terry. And I looked across the way, and there was Terry Wolfram. Terry, who shares my first name, but unlike me, instead of being like an artsy-fartsy kid, Terry Wolfram was the star quarterback player at Springbrook High School. You know, he was cooler than cool. If you were a Wolfram, his sister was like the star soccer player, his other brother's like the star baseball player. If you're a Wolfram, you're a star athlete, a scholar, and very popular at Springbrook High School. And Terry Wolfram, Mr. Big Muscle Terry Wolfram himself he was across the aisle doing the same thing as me. It was just us standing up. We were reeling, people. We were reeling. And I remember, even though I was feeling sick, I started kind of chuckling. I was like, it's just kind of funny that Terry Wolfram is going through the same thing. And all the kids are like, no, it's Terry and Terry. And we started, before you know it, I dropped and collapsed. And just as I dropped, the last thing I saw, the next aisle over was Terry Wolfram, just at the same time. Perfect timing, people. Perfect planning. Like we planned it together. Terry Wolfram dropped too, and we both woke up in the nurse's office with a nurse who's very much like the Lady in Misery, watching over us and tending to us. And I got to go home early that day, people. I got to go home early because of real-life violence. I know what you're thinking to yourself, but I don't have to say anything. I don't have to prove that I know what you're thinking. Anyway, thank you for coming to Snackboy today. Thank you for visiting.